Good morning, YouTube or BookTube. I thought I'd make a video. It is September the 16th, 2018. It is 10:53 in the morning here in West Michigan. And my wife went to church this morning, so I got the house to myself. I thought I'd make a video tomorrow night, but I have these stack of books that have just been bugging me, and they go along with this BookTube tag that was started by Mark Nash. It's called the Hobbies and Pastime book tag, and I did this. I wrote this tag out several weeks ago, and I gathered the books last week, so I'm just going to do it. And these are a series of questions, or and the questions, it's like each tag has anyway, you'll see it as I go along. There's 13 of them. 1, sport, a novel with the best sporting contest event portrayed. I showed this book a couple of videos ago. This is The Sport of Kings, a novel. This is by C.E. Morgan. It's on horse racing. You can see on the cover here, horse racing. And I talked about this book a couple of videos ago. So, Sport, Horse Racing, The King of Sports by C.E. Morgan. And then the second, music, a novel with the best musician or composer character. Now, I don't know if these are best. I would just say these are the novels that came to my mind when I looked at these prompts, I suppose they're called. So, music, a novel with a musician or composer character. And I thought of this novel by Richard Powers. I read this several years ago. It's called The Time of Our Singing by Richard Powers. One of the main characters is a singer. So yeah, I thought of this one, The Time of Our Singing. On Easter Day, 1939, at Maureen Anderson's epic concert on Washington Mall, David Strom, a German Jewish immigrant scientist, meets Della Daly, a young Philadelphia Negro, singing to be a singer. Their mutual love of music draws them together. Against all odds and better judgment, they marry. They vow to raise their children beyond time, beyond identity, steeped only in song. Jonah, Joseph, and Ruth grow up. However, during the civil rights era, coming of age in the violent 1960s, living out adulthood in the racially entrenched late century. Jonah, the eldest, whose voice can make heads of state repent, follows a life in his parents' beloved classical music. Ruth, the youngest, devotes herself to community activism and repudiates the white culture her brother represents. Joseph, the middle child and the narrator of this generation-bridging tale, struggles to find himself and remain connected to them both. So yeah, one of the characters here is a singer. 3, collecting, a novel with a character who collects things. Well, I thought about that, and one of the novels is the main character in this Laura Warholic or Sexual Intellectual, a novel by Alexander Theroux. He collects old blues records. His name is, let me see that. It's a huge, massive thing, this novel. I've shown it in the past. It's over 880 pages. And I read only like 409 pages. It's a kind of novel that doesn't have any plot or any really character. Well, it does have characters, maybe development, but you can pick it up and read it anywhere. And So yeah, the main character collects old blues records. So I thought of that. So then the Cookery, a novel with a great, well, let's say cooking or dining scene. And I read this. This is John Saturnall's Feast, a novel by Lawrence Norfolk. This takes place during the 17th century in Cromwell, England. And one of the main characters cooks for the king, it's about how food and feasting in the 17th century England. I didn't read the whole thing. I got kind of bogged down, but I read 203 pages. It has big print, so I could have finished it. I might finish it someday. So this is John Saturn's A Novel, a Feast. John Saturn's Feast, a novel by Lawrence Folkwell. I really like Lawrence Folkwell's novels. I collect him. Check him out. He's kind of interesting. I have all of his novels downstairs in the lower level. Art, a novel with a painter or sculptor or painting in it. I have been reading Adultery by Alexander Theroux. One of the main characters is a painter. So I was reading that in Adultery. I didn't really get far into this. I read 41 pages out of 370, but I haven't given up. It's another thing that you can just pick up and read. Hunting, a novel with hunting or fishing. I thought of Richard Brautigan's Trout Fishing in America. Richard Brautigan was into trout fishing, and this novel, Trout Fishing in America, it's about trout fishing. So I thought of that. See, it's all about trout fishing. Richard Brautigan, Trout Fishing in America. Also in this volume is his novel, The Pill versus the Spring Mine Disaster, and The Watermelon Sugar by Richard Brautigan. Gardening, a novel of gardens or flowers. I thought of this novel, Already Dead, A California Gothic by Dennis Johnson. One of the main characters grows marijuana in Northern California. Genealogy, a novel which features generations of family. This is Gay Tallies, Unto the Sons. This is a trilogy, and it follows this family. An immigrant saga is brought to close through the lives of the author's forebears, particularly his Italian-born father Joseph, a tailor, assimilated America during World War II, existed as an emotional double agent. The son would in time become the chronicler not only of his father's fate, but also the impoverished parochial world of southern Italy that had dispatched multitudes of immigrants to the New World. So it just covers all these Italian immigrants and generations and families. Gay Tallies, Unto the Sons. I want to collect the other ones in this series I've mentioned. I've seen them, but The Neighbor's Wife, Honor Thy Father, The Kingdom and the Power. So, bird watching. I don't have one, but my wife reads these series of mysteries, and one's coming out, and the main character, he's into bird watching. Well, the one's coming out called A Tiding of Magpies, Murder Mystery by Steve Burrows. That's number 8, and then 9 is Genealogy, and 10, Modeling, a novel which someone constructs a model. Well, I've been reading Moonglow, and one of the main characters constructs like space models for like astronauts, the moon landing kind of models for NASA. Moon Glow by Michael Chabon. Home Brewing, a novel that contains moonshine. Well, I just read a novel that I got out of the library titled Twilight by William Gay, and one of the main characters' father makes moonshine. I showed that novel a while back, one of my videos. Gambling, well, a novel that I don't have it in my library, but I was thinking of I was thinking of this novel, Blue Bell by Andrew Vexus. It's a crime novel. One of the main characters is into gambling at horse races. Also, in this novel, a novel which character dresses or disguises themselves. Well, in this novel, one of the main characters, Magdalene is it's a he, but she dresses as a female, and in the later novels, she gets a sex change and becomes totally female. In this Blue Bell, Andrew Vexus. So that's the questions. That was 13. I just wanted to get it off of my mind because these books have been sitting in the living room, so I can put them away now, and I feel a lot better. So if you want to do these tags, look at Mark Nash. So I can put this in my diary for September 2018. I've been reading in the morning still Richard Baxter's Practical Works, Saints Everlasting Rest. Now, during football season, I usually watch college football all day on Saturdays and Sundays, and I don't really read that much. I do read, but I get really into football. I don't know. It's just, I don't really get into baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. I watch football, and usually with my wife. But I have been reading in the afternoons Havoc by Tom Christensen. I really have a hard time reading this because it's so gut-wrenching. To watch someone who you know is destroying themselves, and they have everything and yet they just throw it all away, and they fall into despair and hopelessness. It's kind of depressing. But I sit there and I watch college football, and during all the commercials and during the halftime, I read Havoc. And in the mornings, I read Richard Baxter, and I have some other books on my desk on early Reformed dogmatics, scholasticism, and things like that. I had books. I volunteered at the Book Nook Friday. I brought books home. I'll show those in a video tomorrow night. And I got a book in the mail. I might go find some books at thrift stores tomorrow. I don't know. As far as my diary, I'm on page 754 right now. It is September the 16th. It is a Sunday. It is hot. So we have the house closed up, air conditioner going. And yeah, not much else to report. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Hope you're all doing well. You had a good weekend. And I'll sign off until next time. Bye.